So would you say that John Blackthorne was the first weave?
Definitely not the first weave. But he's still carrying around his gun, Tavi. So how Japanese can he be?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes Podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, anime, music, food, video games, whatever we're feeling at the time, really. My name is Dan with a H. With me, as always, is my co-host, Tavi. Hi, Tavi.
Hey, Dan. What's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. How you doing?
Yeah, doing all right. Pretty tired.
You're tired today, are you?
Yeah, just had a pretty lazy week. Been to the movies a couple of times. I went to watch Monster, the Hirokazu Koreeda movie.
Oh, yeah? You watched it again?
Yeah. It came out at MIF, but it's got its wide Australia release.
Oh,
and
really?
then I actually watched Civil War again with a friend.
Oh, yeah, okay. Your favorite movie,
yeah. Yeah, probably so far this year. And he gave me some pretty interesting insights because he's like a photographer.
Oh,
he knows more about like the photojournalistic aspect of it.
Sure.
And just a few more little hidden layers within the movie in terms of its visuals that were like quite interesting to pick out. Yeah, so it's just that kind of movie. But I've already done my Civil War review.
Yeah, people should go check out that review
ago.
though. It sounds good. I have yet to watch Civil War.
You got to watch it in the theater, man. I'm telling you.
Okay.
It's the only movie that needs to be watched in a cinema.
But you also went to see Challenges, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
You're going to be giving us a mini review of that movie, among other things. So we've got a bit of a news lineup today. We've got Bladerunner 2099 news. We've got Stray Kids at the MET Gala racism news. We've got Scavengers Reign news. As well as a mini review for Challenges and X-Men 97 before going on to the main review for this episode, which is SHŌGUN. I'll put time codes in if you want to jump around. You want to talk about Challenges first then, since we're on it?
Oh, are we switching the order then? I guess it doesn't really matter. We kind of just do whatever.
Yeah.
I chatted to my friend after we watched Civil Wars, and he said, to check out like Challenges, which I'd been meaning to watch, because I like Luca Guadagnino movies.
What else has he done?
He did the remake to Suspiria. Or Suspiri. I don't know the proper pronunciation, but I think most people just call it Suspiria.
Not to be confused with Disturbia, starring Shia LaBeouf.
No, not to be confused with that forgotten movie that I'm sure no one talks about. And he did Bones and All, which was also like pretty good. Yeah, he has a weird vision because he does these like weird thrillers. Romance thrillers.
Sexy thrillers.
Yeah, but then he'll just do like straight up drama. I still haven't seen Call Me By Your Name yet, which is like his, I think that's considered his best movie.
Okay. People like that.
He's done a few, yeah. But yeah, Challenges, the concept is more straightforward. It is just a love triangle between Zendaya and the two leads, Art and Patrick. And I think the crux of it is told between like a match that they're playing in some kind of like smaller challenger tournament.
Yeah.
But what's at stake is kind of like the reputation between them and the relationship between them and all that kind of like broken stuff. So I think the story itself is like, it's quite simple. Usually Luca Guadagnino movies, the ones that I've seen anyway, are pretty weird. But this one seems to be his most... I think like accessible, straightforward to an extent, because there's a little bit of wankiness. Because another thing that really drew me to watching this movie is not the media's attention on the threesome that stuff happens in this movie.
Oh yeah, okay. You didn't go to the movies for the sexy stuff, Tom.
No, surprisingly not. You know, I went to see Luca Guadagnino's work, and Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the score.
Oh, you mean the musical geniuses behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem?
Did they do that score?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Really?
Let me fact check that. Keep going.
I have a feeling that they didn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe they did, but it doesn't sound like a movie that they would do. Anyway, Trent Reznor is Nine Inch Nails guy, and Atticus Ross is just someone that he's been collabing with for a long time. And I mean, Atticus Ross did the Shogun music, which is also interesting.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem original score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Oh, there you go.
They're working hard, man. They're doing a lot of film stuff lately.
Yeah. So usually they're pretty good. They usually have their signature sound and stuff, but it can be quite hidden. But in challenges, it very much sounds like a Nine Inch Nails soundtrack.
Okay.
More on the electronic industrial side, which I'm not sure if most people would like. I like it. I think the music is really cool. I think it's like one of the best original soundtracks I've heard in a movie this year. Really cool stuff. But yeah, this is well, there's definitely one word which can really sum this movie up.
Horny.
Sweaty. It's very sweaty. It's a very sweaty movie.
Okay. You mean from all the tennis, right, Tommy?
Yeah. All for a movie that doesn't have that much. I would say that there's no gratuitous sex scene in it. Even the threesome is like pretty tame by movie standards. You know, they're not. It doesn't go into a porno. It's pretty light. I mean, it's an M-rated movie here, so if you're expecting to see like, I mean, Zendaya, she hasn't gone like Emma Stone, Poor Things yet.
Right. She doesn't want that Oscar.
Yeah.
Oscar that badly
she doesn't
yet.
want that Oscar. Yeah, but I think Zendaya's a pretty good actress, and she's definitely like a good-looking girl. And I think her performance in this movie is pretty good. I think everything about this movie is really good, but I just really had a hard time connecting with the characters because I don't like any of them.
Yeah, okay. But is that the point though? That they're not great people?
I think it's kind of a point, but then you kind of have to spend 2 hours and 10 minutes with them.
Yeah.
And like, I'm all about like the unlikable character, but at the end of the day, there's not really that much depth to the story because I think the story is too simple. It is just a love triangle, and then the tennis match is a metaphor for like, you know, playing for Zendaya, but also just like past rivalries and some regrets that they've had. But I think the big draw for most people to watch this movie is the sweatiness because there's a lot of male bodies in this movie.
Yeah, okay.
There's a scene where there's like they kind of meet in a sauna before like a big match, and he's the guy just like rocks up and he's got like no clothes on, and it's just the way he's standing and the camera, it just really accentuates his ass.
Yeah, okay.
It's just like, it's kind of distracting, but I think that's kind of the point. Because like, I think Luca Guadagnino, he does have a lot of homoeroticism in his movies. I know Call Me By Your Name is about
that's its whole thing,
a gay
right?
couple.
Yeah.
And Timothée Chalamet in Bosenol like jacks up a guy in the field for like killing him or whatever. So it is kind of his thing. Yeah. I think for a simple story like this, and maybe with unlikable characters, it's probably the best iteration that it could have been. Like, you know, the craft is really good, the soundtrack is really good, the
sweatiness
performances and the
sweatiness is really good. Maybe Zendaya like came off the set of Dune where she wasn't allowed to sweat. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna do the most sweatiest movie to compensate for this.
It's so sweaty. Like, that's the big draw. It's like you're gonna watch like attractive people being like pretty sweaty.
Yeah.
And I think it does that pretty well. It might not be potentially my cup of tea, but I think for this kind of story and this pretty, I would say, somewhat experimental to a point. It's not, I think there's a slight bit of wankiness to it, but I think the story is just a bit, it's not that interesting for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually I'd like to encourage people to go to the cinema, but I think this one could just be like a wait for stream movie. Like, you're not really getting too much unless you want to sit in a sweaty atmosphere with a lot of other middle-aged women and like older millennial women.
It seems like if you're a fan of this director, it does seem like a very him kind of movie. So
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because I kind of felt the same
he's got
about
a
Bones
weird
and
choice.
All.
Yeah,
Like Bones and All.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been more interesting to me than I felt it was while watching it. But I think it's just it's just that director's style maybe doesn't quite mesh with me. I don't know. I found it a little slow is all.
Yeah, I think this movie, the spectacle is in the sweatiness, so it's not slow in that sense. But the tennis match, what's at stake, was not that interesting to me. So I did find it a bit slow, and I did like look at my watch a couple of times because I felt like maybe I kind of wanted to leave. And so I kind of wanted to, I didn't want to leave. I wanted it to end so I could go home.
So you could go home and towel yourself off.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. But I think it's a good film, but maybe not really my type of movie. But
Probably not something that you'd revisit, right?
yeah, not anytime soon. Not something like Civil War, which I've really enjoyed. I think it's
yeah.
Not something like The Beekeeper, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
So the bees.
Right, well, anyway. Sounds like an all right movie. For what it is. All right, well let's talk about this then. This is from Empire. Michelle Yeoh to star in Blade Runner 2099. So this is obviously a sequel to 1982's Blade Runner and 2017's Blade Runner 2049. So set 50 years after Blade Runner 49, judging from the title. Do you know much about this project?
No, not really. I came across the headline maybe a few days ago, and I just think I'm not that particularly excited, to be honest.
What about this doesn't excite you? Because
cool.
you like Blade Runner and you like Blade Runner 2049
I really like
right?
the universe. Yeah. I think it's not that I'm not excited or not looking forward to it. It's because I don't really know who's behind the project aside from...
That it's a Prime Video series? Is it that? Perhaps that aspect of it?
Like Prime has made some good and bad stuff. Yeah. Like I've heard Fallout is pretty good.
Fallout's great. I finished watching that. Yeah.
The Boys is good, and Invincible is good. But they've also made Rings of Power, which just dropped a new trailer and has been disliked to oblivion. But not going to talk about that unless we want more views, and I can. But I saw the trailer, and my reaction to it was just like, it looks like a Rings of Power show.
For me, I feel like this project might suffer from the same problem in that Lord of the Rings and Blade Runner feel like things that that belong on the big screen. You know what I mean? Like
they belong on the big screen, and I think they need like a singular vision, like a creative. You know?
Yeah.
I actually might go more about this when we talk about Shogun. But I think because at its core, Blade Runner 2049 and the first Blade Runner are like masterpieces in the cinematic experience. Its soundtrack, its visuals, you get everything in the theater. I've never watched the first Blade Runner in a cinema, but I can imagine being there, just hearing, Vangelis'
it's
soundtrack
a vibe,
and
you
stuff.
know, these movies.
Yeah. And the Blade Runner movies, they usually received quite mixed. They are critical and filmic darlings, but most general people don't really like those movies.
Well, 2049 did not do that well commercially.
None of them did. The first one didn't.
Yeah, I feel like the first one didn't.
Yeah.
But they get they get love after the fact.
Yeah. They've got staying power because I think they are masterpieces. And I think, Blade Runner 2049 is my favorite Denis Villeneuve movie. I've rewatched it several times.
It's my favorite Jared Leto performance.
It's true, actually. I did enjoy him as Wallace. So because I think the DNA of Blade Runner is that they're kind of like, to put it in layman's terms, like slow-paced or boring film noirs with really nice visual, a visual aspect and themes of, transhumanism and AI and stuff like that. Because there was another series that they made from it, but it was pretty poorly received. I think it was an anime.
Is that the animated thing?
Yeah, I think it was an animated thing, and it was just too action packed or whatever. And
Right.
I didn't see Blade Runner as kind of a big action spectacle. It's more the slow contemplative sci-fi because they're based on those like Philip K. Dick stories.
That's right. I mean, the
yes.
action in 2049 is pretty spectacular, but
Yeah, it is,
it's not.
yeah.
It's not what it's about, right? Like,
Yeah, it's
and-
about the vibe, as you said. Yeah,
That's right. And when you're pacing that for a TV show, I don't know how well that will play, which is probably my main concern. But that said, I like Michelle Yeoh. I think, like you said, Prime Video has done some good stuff and some bad stuff.
and
So-
same with Michelle Yeoh. She's done some good
Some
stuff
good
and
stuff and some bad stuff,
So,
some of which
yeah.
we've talked about on this podcast.
Yeah,
But I would like to be pleasantly surprised by this.
Yeah, I hope so too. Like, I will see like what the general reception is, and then I may watch an episode or two and then make my mind up because I do really like this universe.
And I see this casting as a positive. I would say.
Yeah. I think the franchise is not particularly strong. It has its fan base, a pretty loyal fan base, but it's not like it's not Marvel. It doesn't have that kind of super dedicated, really into it, like cosplay it and have conventions. It's more just a bunch of cinephiles in a basement just sipping whiskeys.
And memes. Don't forget about the memes.
Oh, yeah, and memes, yeah. But I think my reception at this point is just, cool.
We'll see what
fine.
happens.
Yeah.
Still a
Yeah.
long way off. Not much is known about the story and production so far. So we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes. But yeah, good for Michelle Yeoh. She's working hard. How about this, Tavi? This is bad news, actually. Stray Kids make their debut at the Met Gala as a group. And they're met with a little bit of racism from some photographers.
Yeah,
Have you seen
I've
any
seen
of
that.
these videos?
You showed me the
Yeah.
video. Just like straight up, fuck the Met Gala anyway. Just a bunch of wankers.
It's not, it's not for us. We're not fashion people.
We're not fashionistas, but yeah.
But yeah, fuck the Met Gala.
fuck the Met Gala.
Nah, people enjoy it.
People enjoy it,
my
yeah.
fiance
It's not for
enjoys it
us.
as much as the next person. So I've been seeing like clips kind of here and there. I mean, it's got its audience.
Yeah,
it's
not for me. But I saw the clip. You sent me this clip of the reporters. It's a hard one to decipher because there's some layers to it. Yeah.
For context, the clip is the Stray Kids are on the red carpet at the Met Gala. So this is actually the first time a K-pop group has come to the Met Gala as a group, like in its entirety.
Yeah.
And basically, they're standing posing for photos, and the photographers are kind of getting frustrated at them. So you're in the video, you're kind of hearing the voice of a bunch of photographers that are trying to take their photo, and they're saying things like, get together, get closer together, and then they're like complaining about how like the guys are kind of a bit expressionless and a bit maybe like confused from the instructions, like they're not really following the instructions that the photographers are giving them. I didn't hear this in the video, but apparently somebody referred to them as robots.
I heard that. This guy's
yeah.
like they're expressionless, they're robots or something.
Yeah.
I heard that.
And apparently they went on to say like, because they kind of take off their jackets for a reveal afterwards, and they're like, I think somebody made a joke that because there are two costumes, people might confuse them for two different groups, two different boy groups. The implication is that people can't tell what Asian people look like, basically.
Yeah. That all Asians look the same, I mean, I guess we should try to put the Asian spin on it. I mean, regardless of the intent of these photographers, they're just a bunch of assholes, and fuck them anyway. So fuck them. Yeah, but I think there's some layers to it where I think it's not like a explicitly racist view, but it's implicit.
Yes.
Because when you told me about this and when I saw the clip, it just reminds me of the dude ages ago who was an executive at Marvel, and I think one of the actors was doing something on Daredevil, and he basically said, paraphrasing, he just said like nobody cares about Asians because they don't know how to emote.
Yeah.
They're expressionless. So that's the kind of implicit racism I think that people
Well, that
just
example is
dismiss
a bit
it.
more explicit, I would say.
Yeah. So it's just like they just kind of see them as objects, and it's just a difference between the Western view of things and the Eastern view of things. I think in the West, it's definitely you should show yourself and express as much as you can. That's what most of that industry is based off. It's about being the loudest, rather than, I guess, like East Asian culture, and just with our experience living in Japan, it's about fitting in and not
Even in the show that we're going to be talking about today, Shogun. Yeah, it's a lot of that shit. A lot of hiding emotions behind walls and walls within walls.
So I think they are being like racist, but I don't think they know that, which is maybe just as scary.
Kind of makes it worse.
Yeah, it kind of makes it worse. So I don't like them either way. Even if they didn't make those comments, they're just like, I think those kind of people are just scum anyway. So fuck them.
And it's probably the vocal minority, in fairness. I'm sure a lot of the photographers there were probably handling it with a bit more respect. But I mean, it is unfortunate.
Is the Met Gala, is it in New York? I don't know where it is.
You're asking the wrong guy, Tommy.
That's all right.
It was in New York City. I mean, you can hear the New York twang.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
These voices,
So it's kind of like, it's probably just that New York bluntness as well, coupled with a bit of implicit racism.
Sure.
So I don't kind of blame him for that. I just kind of blame these particular photographers for just being shit people. So fuck them anyway.
I mean, we are Australian, so maybe we are a bit desensitized to this specific kind of racism, right? But I certainly don't blame people for getting upset over these videos, because the videos are pretty hard to watch.
I think so. Like, I think you have a right to be upset, because it's sometimes you think some progress has been made, but then something like this happens, which is kind of just an unfortunate byproduct of human nature, tribalism, I suppose. It's just easy to just see someone as different for the surface value thing and just pay him out for that, to make yourself feel superior. And I think that can just happen anywhere, not just Asians in America. It could happen to Americans in Asia, as we're about to talk about, I suppose, in Shogun.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe these photographers were, coming off a long day of shooting. I mean, not to excuse this kind of behavior, because there really isn't any excuse for this kind of behavior. But I mean, we don't know the full story.
You can just be a decent person. Yeah, that'd be a dickhead.
Just shut up, Just shut up and take photos.
Just take photos of other people. There's a lot of other, people there wearing weird shit that you'll probably get some money off. So, whatever, man. There was some wasn't a Twice member at the Met Gala, I think?
Probably. I mean, there definitely have been K-pop people going to the Met in the past. I'm sure Jenny's gone.
Jenny's
I'm sure.
Been there
I think Psy
times.
went once.
Psy,
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not... I think the fact that the Met Gala is becoming a bit more inclusive is that's not going to change. But this is the first time a whole group has come, and maybe that's not the best idea, right? To bring out 8 people and try to take a photo of them all at once. But I don't know. I think just shut up and take photos. Just do your job. Without being racist. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah. But anyway, it's a bit of a wank fest either way, so it's fine.
Fuck the Met. Anyway, how about this? So this is via Giant Freaking Robot. Netflix picks up Scavengers Reign after HBO Max cancelled season 2 of this.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that it was cancelled, because they barely did any fucking marketing for this show. One of the best shows of last year.
Certainly best animated.
They just shoved it aside. So it's good that Netflix did pick it up.
I mean, I think Netflix makes things a bit more accessible to the general audience. So that's good for the show.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's going to have more eyes on it when it starts streaming May something.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing a season 2. Hopefully it does get the recognition it deserves, because it is I think it's a masterpiece, really.
Yeah.
It's-
And I think
love
Netflix
it,
is a
yeah.
good platform for animation in general. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people that have Netflix do watch the animated stuff that is on there.
Yeah, but they also have a bunch of really bad shit as well.
Yeah, they do have bad stuff. I mean, all streaming platforms have good and bad.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
hopefully this gets more eyes on Scavengers Reign and maybe get to the season 2. I don't think a season 2 is absolutely necessary, but given
Yeah,
the
I
strength
think
of the
so,
first
yeah.
season, I would definitely be into a season 2.
I'd love to revisit the world where everything is out to kill you and be
Yeah.
very uncomfortable by little like bruises and little things and little pricks of it's like and then it turns into like this monstrous fucking thing. Yeah, it's great. Love it.
It's a very good, horrible world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's good that it's out of the hands of HBO and Max, because that's like a platform that nobody really pays attention to.
Yeah.
It's hard to access in Australia, and Warner Brothers as well. It's kind of like had a track record of binning or shelving products that people actually like. So
Yeah, they do. I don't think people really know what they're doing, but it's whatever.
yeah, if you haven't watched Scavengers Reign and you have a Netflix account, definitely check it out. When it comes on there.
It's really good. It's really it's the best animated show of last year. Love it. Great.
Yeah, and then check out the episode we did on it. I'll link it here.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of animated stuff, though, Tavi, I watched X-Men '97.
Oh yeah.
Do you know about this show?
Yeah, I know it's just like a continuation of the original X-Men '97 from the '90s, which
Yeah.
I used to watch and enjoy, but I've kind of grown out of it. So
You're probably one of those people that watched it on Cheese TV, right? Like I did.
yeah, for sure, yeah, and it was pretty good.
I mean, I fucking love this show, Tavi. X-Men '97. I was a pretty big fan of the original show. I think because like watching it growing up as a young lad, like it was one of the first things that exposed me to deeper thematic elements. And that's kind of what X-Men has always been to me. Is this. Even though the movies are very hit and miss, but it has always been this kind of like this memory of watching something that is designed for kids, but has depth to it. And I think like this new show, X-Men '97, is just a really good continuation of this show that I've grown up with and love. Like I really like the continuity of it. I love the animation of it. I love the cameos. I love the fact that the central theme of this show, the prejudice, is still just as relevant today as it was in the '90s. Well, maybe I don't love that, because now that I'm thinking about it, it's actually bad that we haven't moved past that as a society. But for a TV show, it works really well as a theme. The voice acting is incredible. Like they got most of the voice cast from the original show back to reprise their roles.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it picks off pretty much where the original show ended. Like Professor Xavier is presumed dead, and his last will and testament gives control of his school to Magneto, which is like a long-time frenemy of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really good. Like the animation is like, it's not the old school cell shaded animation from back in the day, but it does kind of replicate that with new technology. Like obviously they've used computers to kind of scan the models. It's just more efficient, more cost effective. You can do more with the models once it's scanned in. But the look of it is there. A lot of the original costumes come back, and just the continuation of the characters, it's just really good. All of it is really good. The action looks a lot better than it did back in the 90s.
This is probably like the good example of the use of new technology kind of breathing life into something that is a bit outdated, I would say. So I think this is a good example of keeping the medium, but enhancing the art style. Because it seems like, I haven't seen it, but it seems, as from what you're saying, it seems like they've kept to the art style pretty well, but have just made it more fluid. So it's kind of improving on what was like lacking, rather than just remaking an entire series into like a live action and then it loses its medium. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Both Netflix and Shyamalan.
Yeah,
It was,
I mean, definitely,
yeah.
like you can feel a lot of the care that was put into this show. It wasn't something that just got churned out by Marvel Studios, you know, like, and it does have a lot of cameos that kind of link it to the MCU, which is I found more enjoyable than I thought I would. And yeah, there's a lot of Easter eggs for the true fans, you know. And you'd be proud of me, Tavi. I did not skip the intro once for this show.
Is it the original theme song?
It's the original theme song.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is iconic for sure.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Good on you, Dan.
Thanks, man. This show really hit me in the feels, and yeah, it's just really good. I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I don't know how accessible it is to people that didn't watch the original cartoon, but I feel like it probably stands on its own legs.
Yeah. I think the target demographic would be like just millennials, right? Is it a M-rated show, or is it?
I don't think so. I think it's PG. It's not very violent. There is action in it, but it's probably as violent as the original.
Yeah. I don't think
cartoon series.
It needs to be that violent. I think the original, as long as the story is good, as much as I have gone on about just making everything have wanton violence, I do kind of talk in hyperboles at points. So if it's not needed.
Yeah, I mean, if you remade The Last Airbender, you wouldn't make it violent, right, Tavi? Right? Only an idiot would try to add some grisly violence to that cartoon show.
The guy like grabs like the airbender's bowls and then like fries him. I don't think he does that, but for one of my memories, he's like, I don't know why I remember it this way, but he like grabs the airbender's bowls and then just like fries him, and he's like, ah! And then I'm definitely remembering it wrong, but I'm gonna remember it like that because it's funny. No,
I think this is the kind of show that, like the original series, it's something that both kids and adults could enjoy, and I just really enjoy the idea that, a kid that was my age when I watched the original show is now watching this show, and maybe like it's their first exposure to these kinds of themes, like that, I think that's just a good thing that might be happening. I'm not sure what kind of audience is getting, to be honest, but
I'm not sure how successful the show is, but it seems to have a pretty positive reception just from what I've been seeing online.
Because it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Let's talk about another good thing. Good thing. Shogun.
Yes, Shogun. Hopefully you've stayed with us for the 30 or however odd minutes that we've been rambling on about other stuff. And then whoever's listening, like, where the fuck are you guys going to talk about Shogun to what we clicked on the goddamn icon for?
So we'll talk about this show non-spoilers first, and then we'll give you a spoiler warning before we talk spoilers.
Yeah.
Because obviously...
This will probably be a spoiler review because it's hard. You can't really talk about Shogun without spoilers.
I think there's a bit to talk about without heavy spoilers. But if you want to go into the show fresh and you haven't watched it yet, go check it out on Disney Plus now before coming back to this. But yes, obviously this is a series on Disney Plus currently. The show itself is set in Japan in the year 1600, where Lord Yoshi Toranaga, played by Hiroyuki Sanada, is fighting for his life as his enemies on the Council of Regents unite against him when a mysterious European ship is found marooned in a nearby fishing village.
With John Blackthorne. My name's John Blackthorne.
John Blackthorne.
John Blackthorne. Yeah, I was chatting to some friends the other day. We just kept saying, I'm John Blackthorne.
He's a fun character to
imitate.
To imitate, yeah. So this is based on a 1975 novel by James Clavell, which I have not read. But I'm basically a pretty period accurate Japanese drama.
Yeah. It's been pretty well received, even amongst Japanese audiences as well. So it's good. I'm glad they did that. It could have easily have been Mulanified, where everyone just talks English and they get all the period stuff wrong.
Yeah, no, well, Sanada is a producer on this show, so he, made pains to make it as accurate as he could.
The Japanese hero of Hollywood. I don't think I've met a person that doesn't like Hiroyuki Sanada. He's just one of those guys that's in a lot of stuff. and people just love him because he's a stand-up dude. I don't know him personally, but he seems like a stand-up dude.
Yeah, and he's got that gravitas, you know? He's got enough gravitas to carry a project, even if it's bad. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat, Army of the Dead.
Sure, yeah, he's in that. I forgot he was in that, actually. Bullet Train, yeah.
Is he in Bullet Train?
Yeah, he's the main old dude in Bullet Train.
I completely forgot. Okay, no.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Him and Ken Watanabe, you know, they're really opening doors.
Yeah.
I mean, but this in general has a really stacked cast of Japanese people.
Yeah.
You know, we've got, Anna Sawai plays Mariko.
Yeah.
Fumi Nikaido plays Ochiba from Shion Sono's Himitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Ichi the Killer is in this movie.
I always mispronounce Tadanobu Asano. Yeah, they're pretty. Fumi Nikaido and Tadanobu Asano are both pretty like prolific actors. I've seen Tadanobu. I keep fucking his name up. It's kind of hard.
I had to say, yeah.
Tadanobu Asano, or maybe I should just call him. Is it Asano? Asano-san?
Asano-san. Let's go with that.
Okay. Well, I've seen Asano-san in a lot of movies. Like, he has appeared in so many movies and so many different genres of movies. He'll star in some pretty like normal Japanese drama kind of things, and then he'll star in this really weird stuff. You know, Ichi the Killer. He was in like this Shunji Iwai short film called Picnic, where he has hallucinations of his teacher that has like 12 dicks and it like pees on him or something. Yeah, it's
okay,
weird.
that sounds pretty weird.
It's super weird.
Some people might know him from the Thor movies.
Yeah, he just dies. Yeah, he just gets killed.
One of the guys in there.
Which they love doing that in Marvel, don't they? They get their like one prolific Asian actor and then just kill them.
Kill them off.
Eternals.
Does that happen in the Marvels? That might happen in the Marvels. No, I think the Marvels that guy's one of the main guys, right? That Korean actor.
The guy from Young Song Creature. No, I don't think he dies, but he's just in it for like 2 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like the actor a lot. I think he's really funny. Yeah.
He's good, man. Yeah, I like him.
But yeah, I've seen Fumi Nikaido in a lot of other stuff as well. Himitsu.
She's definitely more prolific in Japan, yeah?
Yeah,
I would say.
They're more prolific than I would say even like Anna Sawai, who I've only seen in Fast 9. That's the only other project that I've seen her in. She hasn't been in too much stuff.
She's an American actress, right?
I think she's Japanese. I think she's based in Japan.
Okay.
But she's a Kiwi actress. She was born in New Zealand, but she moved to Japan when she was 10 or something. And I only know this is because, Anna Sawai is the best actress and character in this show. Maybe it's because, I'm just like, man, just her talent just really shines through.
Thirsty for it.
Yeah, a bit sweaty. I think I just really fell in love with the way she speaks. Just that really nice, clear English. Like her English in this movie, Portuguese.
Yep.
I should say it's just really good. Yeah. It's so there's something very sexy about it.
It kind of reminds me of Lucy Liu, like from back in the day.
Yeah.
Whenever she'd play this kind of character, I'm thinking Shanghai Nights and I'm thinking Kill Bill.
Yeah, it's a weird accent because it doesn't really sound Kiwi.
It's just that generic posh accent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got this like slight British, slight American twang to it. And she kind of sounds like this normally because I've seen some interviews with her. And it's like, she kind of, it's a little bit more loose than what it appears in the show. But I think this kind of English it's just like a really good kind of role model for people to aspire to like talk properly. Because I see so much shit where people are kind of idolizing a lot of these like very much belly head people that talk like theirs, you know? And it's just like, oh man. And then people kind of look up to them.
Sure.
I feel like her English, she's a native Japanese person. She, I think, has spent most of her life in Japan.
Yeah.
But I think she speaks better English than probably a lot of the influencers that I see.
Yeah.
coming from the West. It's just great.
But this is a period piece, Tommy. If somebody was talking like this in real life, I'd be pretty intimidated. I'll have to say that.
No, I'd be like, oh man, just keep talking. If Anna Sawai was read audiobooks, I would just buy them, even if they're shit.
Yeah.
If she read the Crazy Rich Asians audiobook, I'd listen to it anyway, just to just go to sleep. It's great.
Yeah, she's really good in this show. I enjoy the way she walks in this show. They do that thing where it looks like they're floating. That must be hard to do, man.
Yeah. She, I think she demonstrated it on Stephen Colbert or something. Yeah. You put your knees together and you kind of don't separate them and you kind of walk forward and it kind of looks weird. And then, that's kind of how she does it. She took a lot of care delving into the character of Mariko, as well as even just generally the language. We are not native Japanese speakers, but you can tell that there is a kind of, it's different to maybe the modern Tokyo Kansai accent.
It's that old school Japanese keigo.
It's like keigo on steroids.
You see it a lot in Japanese in samurai film in general. Even in the recent Kenshin movies, you hear this kind of speaking. Yeah. So, but sounds pretty legit to me.
I think everything just about the period piece of it seems very accurate.
Yeah, I mean we don't know much about the history behind it, but I didn't realize the Portuguese had such an impact in Japanese history,
Yeah, neither did I. I know that in Silence, the Martin Scorsese film, it shows a more persecuted view of Catholicism. So I was surprised watching Shogun that in this universe, or I'm not sure if they're the same time periods or if they're different between Silence and Shogun, but it's interesting to see how almost accepted Catholics are in this story. So I didn't know that at all. So this was quite new to me.
There's a lot of Japanese characters that have been converted to Catholicism and they're just going about their business, going to church. There's 2 regions on the council that are both Catholic. So pretty crazy.
A lot of strong performances. I also like Tadanobu Asano's character as Yabushige.
Yabushige, yes. Yabushige is good. I like him. He's probably my favorite character in this show.
He's the little finger of this, of this
But he's a bit more bumbling. You know what I mean? So basically, Yabushige is the ruler of the Izu Peninsula. He's under Hiroyuki Sanada's Toranaga-sama. The opposing team is made up of Ishido. He's the main villain of this piece, I guess. And Ishido is in Osaka with his Council of Regents. And they're trying to kind of oust Toranaga by utilizing various means, one of which is conspiring with Yabushige, who is kind of playing both sides, but doing a really bad job at it.
He's a pretty fun character to watch, and I think that just comes from Asano-san's acting talent and his experience. He plays more of an Ishido character in Silenced, as kind of just a jerk that hates Catholics, but in this one, he's kind of a bit of a scheming, bumbling fool, as you said. But
he's fun though. He's got this weird penchant for death. So he's in the first episode, he boils an Englishman alive. And he's just kind of listening to the guy's screams and saying that it's kind of a beautiful death or whatever. So he's kind of obsessed with getting the perfect death or something. Which is a pretty funny character trait.
Well, I mean, everyone in this show is fucking committing seppuku at some point.
They love it, Tommy.
They love it. It's kind of as authentic as it is to the time period and the kind of the Japanese way of doing things. It is somewhat outdated, that way of thinking of just constantly committing seppuku. It's still a very shame-based society, but movies and stuff since then, they try to steer away from this kind of stereotypical view, because I mean, in a hyperbolic sense, the show seems like, oh, I spilled milk, I'll fucking commit seppuku or something. Or it's just like,
it does feel like that at times.
Yeah, it's just like everyone's just like, oh, sorry, I misspoke, I'll kill myself, So it can sometimes get a bit much where it's kind of funny. It's just like, oh yeah, I just kill myself,
Yeah,
and
you
I
get
guess that's why
desensitized to it.
yeah, that's why I guess John Blackthorne's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why you guys just want to kill yourselves so much?
I really this character of Blackthorne. Like that particular trait in him is something that I really enjoy. He's like the embodiment of every confused gaijin that ends up in Japan.
Lost English teacher, gaijin.
He's just bewildered by Japanese culture at all times. He's constantly... There's a line in like the first episode where like Blackthorne has been dragged from his crew. One of them has been boiled alive by Yabushige. Like then they try to sail out to Osaka and there's a storm and the captain gets washed overboard. It's a fucking shit show. Then like they attempt to rescue the captain by descending these dangerous cliffs, and Yabushige himself decides to try to save the captain, and then when that goes wrong, he like takes out his sword to kill himself rather than drown. And Blackthorne is like, this is madness. And I just thought to myself, nah, it's Japan, mate. Like, no matter where you're from, if you go to live in Japan for long enough, you're gonna have one of these Blackthorne like this is madness moments where it's like a combination of like bewilderment and frustration over Japanese culture.
Just found him really funny. Of it. Yeah, he's a pretty fun character to watch. Portrayed by Cosmo Jarvis, who I'm not too familiar with.
Yeah, seems like an up and comer.
But yeah, he's based off. I think all these characters are based off real life people. They just had their names changed, and it's obviously been a little bit fictionalized. But yeah, just his just constant bewilderment to those. Like, what is this? It's just like confused.
He's got an arc as well. So
I like his arc. He's kind of hard to talk about without getting
spoilers.
into spoilers. I did really enjoy his arc, and you definitely like feel for him because it'd be very easy to make this show seem like a white savior story.
Well, apparently there was I didn't know this, but there was a 1985 NBC miniseries based on this book first, starring Jonathan Rhys-Davies, Richard Chamberlain, and Toshiro Mifune.
Oh, Rhys-Davies, yeah.
And apparently that took more of a white savior approach.
Yeah, because that's the 80s, man. Like, nobody wants to watch like a bunch of like Japanese people speaking Japanese in a period Japanese piece,
But this show kind of focuses more on the Japanese elements of it and the Japanese characters. Like it definitely feels like Game of Thrones, but in Japan.
Yeah, I think that's great. What I really like is how receptive people have been to a show that is mostly spoken in Japanese. And it's also a pretty slow show as well.
Yeah, definitely not as much action as I expected.
Not that much action. There are bits of like quite grisly violence, which I did enjoy, but it's not too, I wouldn't say it's too heavy on that. I think it's quite accessible for people, but...
Yeah, I think because it's sparse. Like when it does happen, it's a bit more impactful.
Yeah. But I'm just glad that people have chosen to like jump on like the bandwagon for a show that has had a lot of care and it is quite authentic. And I think this is like the best marriage between like a Western and Eastern production. They've got this big, strong period piece, but maybe the Japanese funding might not be there. So FX or the studio, whoever made it, is like, we'll give you money. But they've let, the Japanese, crew or, Hiroyuki Sanada has been like, let's make this really authentic. And they've really chosen to focus on the Japanese characters and kept it mostly in Japanese. I think there is just enough English in the show to keep maybe people who aren't used to subtitles in there. But I'm surprised.
Well, I feel like the target audience is the kind of audience that was into Game of Thrones, like the audience that has a bit more patience to kind of like not have their hand held as much. This show is fairly confusing at times because there's a lot of scheming, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different characters playing different sides of this war, and like there's this conflicts, right? They're basically at war, but there's also a lot of rules that they follow. And because of that, like sometimes it can be a little bit hard to follow because you're like, why did they do that? Like, why are they doing this at times? But like, I think that's great. I think it's like the kind of show that rewards patience.
I think that's great because that's kind of like an Eastern philosophy. I mean, I guess most people value patience, but I'm not sure about these days with everyone who just watches TikToks all day. But that aside, I'm glad that a show like this can thrive that is quite slow. And as I said, it doesn't hold your hand. But I think the show is so tightly written that even though some of it might be confusing, I never felt lost. There's a lot of stuff happening in each episode. I wouldn't say this is, for me, a bingeable show because I'd have to like take a break after each episode just to kind of absorb what I've seen. And kind of take it all in because there's a lot, and it's not per se an easy watch. Like you have to pay attention. It's not a show you can watch while you're just eating like instant ramen or whatever, or if you're doing your laundry. You know, it's not
it's not a Rebel Moon.
It's not Rebel Moon. It's not Super Rich in Korea. Which you watched recently. It's a show that you have to give your utmost attention to.
I think it's also like a kind of show that you're supposed to be talking about after you've watched each episode because it did come out episode by episode, right?
It's a proper TV show, wasn't it? Like it wasn't a web series, because there was like ad breaks,
Yeah, I think they've designed it to be talked about around the water cooler at work, you know what I mean? And analyzed, and maybe you had a different interpretation of a certain aspect of the episode than another person. So it's kind of a show that's meant to be discussed episode by episode and digested in that way. So I think that's really refreshing, like as opposed to kind of the binge format.
I mean, I guess we should talk about like Hideyoki Sanada. I mean, he does a pretty good job as the Yoshii Toranaga. It's kind of something that he's probably done a few times before.
Yeah, he's a stoic man looking into the middle distance.
He's got a pretty interesting arc because he kind of schemes to a point as well. Whether I'm not sure some of his plans maybe made sense, but
some of it just feels like he's like, oh yeah, that was my plan all along. Actually.
I feel like some of it is he kind of had given up, but then it kind of things just worked out for him.
He feels like a real person. Like he feels like a character based on a real person, you know? He's not infallible.
I think all the events that happen is real. Like it feels real.
Because like sometimes I'd forget that. Sometimes I'd be watching this show and I'd be thinking, oh, don't worry, this is all part of his plan. Like he's that kind of character. He's like the shikamaru of this world, right? But he's not that. He does have flaws and he's not right all the time. And like a lot of the shit he does in the show is pretty dubious. And like, there's a point right at the end of the show where it's like, it implies like the humanity in him and like that he's not a perfect, leader. And the subtlety that Hiroyuki Sanada plays this character, it's kind of his bread and butter at this point. But I think even in the stoicism that he's putting out, it says a lot about the character without actually saying a lot, if that makes sense.
Only really a veteran can do that because like in the show, he's been fighting since he was a kid. Hiroyuki Sanada has been acting since he was a kid as well, I think. So he's just he's been on the game for a long time, man. Yeah. He's a legend.
But should we talk some spoilers about this show?
Yeah.
I mean, really good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think, I feel like I liked it a lot while I was watching it. But then looking back at it, I was like, oh, was it actually that interesting? But then, it is pretty interesting, I think. And like you said, I think it sets a good framework for this kind of TV show moving forward.
Yeah. From the way that we've been talking about it and just like thinking about what was said, we've definitely give it like a super glowing review. I think everything about this show is epic in its scale. It's epic in its production. It has really good acting. I think this is a great show. I think everything about this show is good. But I think there's this kind of, I would say, I think in my personal tastes, there's a little bit of a lack of like wankiness to the show. This feels like a very clean production. There's almost like no flaws to the show, which to me is almost a flaw within itself. I kind of like a little bit of self-indulgence in a show. And I think with this show, it's because this is definitely like a team-based show. I don't think there was really a singular vision to it. And I think it's come off the backbone of like super hard work from everyone. But as you said, like maybe the show is like talking about it just with you now, it actually makes the show like a lot more interesting. But it's also, I'm not sure if I would watch this again. I definitely have some issues with the show that we'll talk about in spoilers in terms of like an entertainment aspect of the show as well.
Yeah.
Because when I watch Japanese production, I kind of like the Japanese weirdness to it, which maybe this show didn't really have as much. It's because it's very clean. It's very, I think this show is so accessible that I think to me as a snobby cinephile, there's none of that, like, you know, when we watch like some Japanese films and stuff, there's like that super overacting that maybe probably most people from the West wouldn't like. They would say it's weird or bad acting.
Sure.
But I kind of like that. There's no like Yakuza guy going or anything like that. You know?
I think maybe what you're kind of saying is that this show is really, really good, but maybe it lacks a little bit of personality.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's my one thing. Yeah,
I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I think it's like a crowd pleasing show, but yeah, I think maybe it could have used a little something, a little bit of spice to set it apart. I think even comparing it to something like Game of Thrones, which it has been compared to a lot.
Yeah, several times. Yeah.
But it doesn't, because of the realistic nature of the show, they can only go so far with the drama. You know, they can't have dragons flying about. They can't have fucking red weddings happening because that stuff didn't happen in the novelization and in real life, presumably.
Yeah. It's definitely like, I wonder. Yeah, I definitely want to kind of delve into that aspect of it being based on a true story, because I think I do have an issue with the ending, the final episode.
Well, let's talk about it in spoilers, which we'll do now. Here's your final spoiler warning for this show.
Spoilers. Oh, yeah. First of all, R.I.P. Lady Mariko. Which got spoiled for me. Fucking, I was just going through his Facebook. It's like, why Lady Mariko? I said, fuck you cunt, man. I haven't watched a fucking show yet. Just fucking calm down. Like, I'm just because I have to fucking check my shit if people message me about a job or whatever, and I was fucking. But no, it's the internet. People just, oh my fucking god, this fucking end Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But anyway, rest in peace, Lady Mariko. Like, damn, man.
Man, she was just itching to kill herself in that last episode.
She really. But like, if you watch the show, you know she's gonna die. She really wants to like die. That's her arc. So I can't wait to die. It's just like, oh man, just like it'll be so good to die.
I find it really funny that she like really, really wanted to die ever since like her family was disgraced. But then she married this guy that wouldn't let her die. But then when the guy was finally like, all right, let's die together, she's like, nah, fuck you. You just don't get it. You just don't get it, man.
Yeah, she's just like just like every
for that guy.
Just like every other like Asian woman's like, I'm gonna go with the white guy. Gotta go with the English teacher.
Pretty
it's just
much.
like that's probably why it's so well received in the West. It's like, yeah, man. It's just like, fuck the Asian guy. No one cares about Asians. Just go with the white dude. And it's like, yeah. But in this case, the white guy is a better dude than the husband. Yeah.
Well, he comes around at some point. I think.
I really like John Blackthorne's like kind of arc when he meets his crew, and they're just like a bunch of slobs. I thought that was really funny.
They're living their best lives in Japan as well, Tommy.
It's kind of like, I kind of see where he's coming from, because you kind of spend a lot of time, because you and I, we love Japan, and then you kind of you see these gaijin who clearly have not made an effort to embrace the culture. They're basically the Johnny Somalis or the kick influencers, if you know. They're just like awful people by that point. It's like, ugh. I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
He's like dressed in his nice yukata.
Just abandons them.
I found that bit really Kyoto funny. Or whatever. Yeah. He like punches him and then walks up.
Yeah. Because most of the show, it is like there's a theme between... Because he spends most of his time with Lady Mariko, and they're talking... or arguing the differences between, the Western view of things and the Eastern view, or how things are done in Japan. How, he as an Englishman, he really values freedom and free to do anything. I don't remember the line, but it really like stuck with me how like, I think Mariko says something is if all you live for is freedom, then like doesn't that hold you back or some shit like that. I can't remember on the top of my head, but I thought what was implied within that scene is very interesting.
Yeah, because it comes off the back of him explaining like how he left his family in England to get freedom on the sea. And it's like, but like, what about your responsibilities to your family kind of thing? So, it's great.
It's true. It's just like, fuck my family. Just ditch them. It's like, ugh, a kid? See you later.
It's a sentiment that, I'm sure it's been used a lot in these kind of like East meets West movies where it's like... the values of freedom versus, the burdens of responsibility or duty, I guess. That sense of duty that is more prevalent in the East. But I feel like it's handled really well in this show because it doesn't feel preachy on either side. I mean, sometimes Lady Mariko I found a little bit preachy, but no, I think it's pretty well balanced.
You take that back. Whatever she says it's all true.
There's a really funny scene between Blackthorne and the captain he meets, like the Portuguese captain that he meets early on in the show, the one that kind of gets washed overboard. And like this captain, he's been in Japan for like a while, so he's kind of used to how Japan works, whereas Blackthorne has just been there, he's just gotten there and is kind of like bewildered. It just reminded me of like, when you first land in Japan as an English teacher and then you meet like a veteran instructor that's just kind of seen everything.
He's been there for 10 years.
And he's just kind of desensitized to it at this point. But I think Blackthorne's character and his arc in the way that, he goes to accept Japanese culture and kind of like accept that it is different to his, but he kind of learns how to play within the rules of that society. I found that arc very interesting. I feel like it is a shame that in the last episode they made this choice to show him as like an old wizened man. So it kind of telegraphs like his ultimate survival at the end of the show. So I don't know, because you said that this show has been renewed for a second season.
It did.
But I don't know whether that was always the plan or not.
I don't think it was. I think it was like, this show's been so well received and it's like, oh shit, let's fucking make another season, bro. It's like, more money. And but I do kind of want to talk about the potential if they are developing it. I think like Hiroyuki Sanada said like, it's been reported that he signed on for like 2 more seasons. So it's going to be a lot more, I think.
I think that if they are going to continue this show and like make it about, the big battle or the war that was telegraphed in the last episode of this season, it would have been nicer if we didn't know the fate of Blackthorn, maybe.
Yeah.
Would have maybe added a bit more tension to some of the scenes.
Well, I think that's the thing, because in history, that battle is a pretty significant battle, the Battle of Sekigahara. So my issue with the show and its end is it seems to be building up to like a big war, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen. And I think the dude bro inside me is like, I think the ending is really good, and it really elicits the sacrifice of Lady Mariko. But it's like, I want to see like a fucking large scale samurai epic battle, And I was kind of holding out for that. But I had a retread of the novel's wiki, and it really does just end there pretty much. I'm not sure if John Blackthorn's character being like an old man, if that is just his hallucinations, or if that's just, if they didn't plan on making it anymore, that's probably like to suggest that he does survive. But I'm not sure if that's in the novel or not. But now that they've kind of ruined that in the sense that he survives, and the real life person it's based off, he does survive it. I'm not sure if he goes back.
Do you know if the novel was set from Blackthorn's point of view? Like, is he the one telling the story? Because if so, that kind of makes sense. That
maybe. I'm not sure. I really just had like a glance, but it really does end when he goes back and Yabushige commits seppuku, and Hideyuki Sanada, Toranaga kills him. But what happens in the novel is that the Battle of Sekigahara is pretty much just summarized in an epilogue.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so after all this, I killed Ishido anyway. And that's it. And it's like, it's like the most exciting thing that you really want to see in a big epic,
But whereas this show kind of ends with a conversation.
It's just like, because the way, I think it's probably the idea that this would have worked better as a novel, because the way he tells it to Yabushige is kind of like, this is what he's thinking is going to happen, but the way the show is trying to say, it's like, oh no, this happens. This is your epilogue. Like, I beat the shit out of this guy. And then it's just like, he's dead. So it seems like it's kind of like someone telling you a bedtime story, and then they're about to get to the good bit, and then it's just like, I'm kind of tired. So I killed the guy, and then it's all good. See ya.
They just wrap it up.
It's just wrapped up, and I was like, I really wanted to see a big battle, because one of my favorite like grisly moments is when those Ishido's like messengers get cannoned by and it's really quite graphic actually, and I wonder if that bit is censored in Japan, because they don't like that realistic gore over there. So I kind of liked how, because this is a Western production, they can like go that extra mile and show, this is what happens when you get hit by a cannon, except for when Lady Mariko gets blown up, she's still like
she's
beautiful.
Just a pristine corpse.
She's just pristine corpse. Because I was thinking, like, when I saw the end of the episode, I'm like, like, I hope they don't, because I kind of don't want to see that. I want to see like Mariko's like face on the wall or something, because it's been blown up.
Well, they could have had the same scene play out where Blackthorn is holding her and crying, but it should have just been a torso, just show her from the waist up.
Just fine. Like then, like that's probably like it's probably like a bit too graphic. Even for me, it's like I don't really want to see that.
Maybe it would have undercut the emotion of the scene.
I feel like it. She's just like holding like her guts or something. It's just kind of it's probably a bit much. That's probably like one of the rare times you'll hear me say that's probably a bit much.
But I mean, I think the use of graphic violence was pretty good. Like I said, it's pretty sparing. I think the bit where the guy, Toranaga's main right-hand man, commits seppuku was like really hard to watch for me. Because it's real slow the way he does it.
And you see his like intestines come out a little bit. Just like, it's cool. My actual favorite moment in this show is when John Blackthorn goes to the really like popular courtesan, because he can't speak Japanese at this point. So he has to have like Mariko translate for him.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of sexual tension between the both of them by this point in the show. So she's like translating all this really like sexually suggestive stuff, but they've done it in a way that it's like, this is what I'm wanting to say to you, but I'm using this courtesan as a vessel. But like, man, that scene got me like really sweaty. Like there's no sex involved, but just like listening to like her voice and then just her like just saying these like really elegantly sexual things to him. It's just like, man, that's it's like, whew. And then there's no sex, but like, damn, man, that's hot. Like,
there's a lot of that in this show. There's a lot of like conveying emotion without necessarily conveying emotion.
Yeah, which is the Japanese way, I guess.
Yeah, and it's good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a good scene. I think there's some stuff that is like pretty interesting, but it does have to kind of like get cut and make way for like the main plot. Like most of the Catholic versus Christian stuff kind of like disappears after maybe episode 3, after the big boat, like the big escape from Osaka, where the Portuguese guys are like trying to run over Blackthorn, but then they let him live. Which is like, it's interesting, but it's also like, I don't mind if that was left out because it probably would have bloated the show. Yeah.
That does play a part in Blackthorn's eventual survival because Mariko uses her ties to the church to kind of like bargain for his safety. But you're right. You don't really see that villainous Portuguese guy again. So that's true. The courtesan stuff as well kind of gets shelved. I thought maybe they'd play a bigger role in this series.
Yeah, because there's a bit where like Toranaga and the courtesan have like a conversation, and it seems like she is suggesting something, but then it's like, nah, nothing really comes of that. It's just the intense conversation that they have. Yeah, it's just like, I want to build my brothel next to this church. And it's like, oh, fuck, you mastered. It's like, in terms of like its realism and it being based on like history, it's sometimes like when you watch like a documentary and then it's edited to a point where, it's building up to something exciting. But like in real life, sometimes the climax is just, no, this is how it ends.
Yeah,
so,
anticlimactic.
It's a bit anticlimactic. And as I was watching like the final episode, it's kind of like, there's not going to be a big battle, is there? I think all the arcs are satisfying to everyone. But I just really wanted to see like a large scale battle, like something along the lines of like, the end of 13 Assassins or even like, the Last Samurai. Like, I just want to
the thing is, like,
a big battle,
that big battle did happen in real life. So it's not like it's not like this is a case where, like real life is holding the situation back.
Yeah.
Like they could have done it, I guess, but
Well, I think they pitched, the way it was probably pitched is like, we'll just cover exactly what the novel is covering, and then that's it. And there was no plans to make a season 2. Like I'm excited to see like a big battle, but also like a lot of my favorite aspects of the show are gone as well. Like Yabushige and
one in particular.
I was just like, like that's probably what makes me not as excited. So it's kind of like, it had to happen to make sense to the story, and it had to happen to complete her arc. But it's like,
And it's what she would have wanted, Tavi. She definitely would have wanted to be blown up, Tavi. But I mean, like, I can kind of see where you're coming from in that. It's a bit of a cop out to just show, the battle happening in Toranaga's mind rather than having the actual battle take place in the show. But I feel like the ending, where it's a conversation between Yabushige and Toranaga, is quite fitting for the show as well.
I think so.
It is just that kind of show, where it's more about like the personal dramas and the conversations that take place, and rather than like any of the kind of action that's happening on screen, I guess. Like
But,
even Toranaga's son, he like tries to stage a coup, and he just slips on it and hits his head, and that's how he dies. That's like pretty anticlimactic.
It's pretty anticlimactic. It's funny, yeah. I did laugh, but I probably shouldn't have. Yeah. But I mean, it definitely does subvert the expectation of these kind of shows. But with the amount of care that they put into the show and with how epic the show would be, like, don't you just want to see a big samurai battle with armies? Like,
That
don't
would
you
have
want
been
to see
fucking
that?
sick.
That would have been so cool, you know?
And
It's just
cannons
like,
and shit, Darby.
yeah,
Oh,
people
yeah.
getting blown apart. Like, back with the Game of Thrones comparison, the best episode is the Battle of the Bastards, man. That was fucking epic.
I mean, it's debatable. Some people like the Red Wedding. Some people like Ned's execution. Some people like Joffrey's death. You know,
Yeah, well, I personally liked the Battle of the Bastards just because it's been building up for 8 fucking seasons at that point, or whatever, how many seasons. And it's just like, man, this is so just fun to watch and really well shot for like a TV show, you know? Yeah.
But I think like with Game of Thrones, it was allowed to build up to that. Like the first season of Game of Thrones, I think it just ends with Ned's execution. Spoilers for Game of Thrones. But like there's no kind of like massive battle in the first season. So maybe they were always saving a little juice for like future seasons, you know?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I can't really fault it because that is where the novel just ends. But it's like, I think I just want to see it. But I guess I'll just watch like 13 Assassins again or something, because that's a pretty sick movie, and that's got Hideyuki Sanada in it as well. It's cool.
You can watch The Last Samurai, Tavi.
You know, I enjoy that movie. Like,
I haven't watched it in a long time. It's probably fine.
Yeah, my mum was watching it on Netflix, and I've watched it like via osmosis, and it's fine. Like, you know, I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's a fucking white savior story."
It is a white savior story.
It's a fun movie, man. Like, just get over that shit. You know, you've got Shogun now, so you can watch that. You know, it's good. There's all these amounts of Asian shows that are available now, so just enjoy like big battles and big samurais like slashing each other and whatnot. I think Shogun is, you know, it's a different kind of show, and I think the ending kind of fit with what the show is going for. But that said, I would have really liked to see like a cool samurai fight. I think that's just like as going back to I guess it's not a criticism, but it's more like it's a lot of the show's themes and a lot of what they talk about is interesting, but I think there's not that much more for me to draw upon like rewatching the show, like because everything is just so clean and everything is so tightly shot. You know, it's just like, okay, it looks good, but I'm not sure what else I can draw from rewatching it, except just like listening to Anna Sawai talk.
And I wonder if it has the juice and the momentum to carry a couple more seasons, because like
that's the thing, because you got to come up with original content now. So that's the thing I'm worried about. Is just like it might Game of Thrones itself out, where people are just like, I can't be fucked writing this. It's just,
and presumably it'd be even harder without dragons to fall back on, you know. Harder to keep people's interest.
I wonder. I guess I have a mixed opinion. Maybe just make a movie about the battle, and then that will be satisfying. You know? That will be cool.
But I think that's all we have to say about Shogun.
Yeah, I think on hindsight, just chatting with you now, I probably enjoyed the show like a lot more than I like think about it. Probably not something I would rewatch again. I'm not sure if it's even the best show of the year of all time, but I think it's an extremely solid show, and I'm really glad that this kind of production is getting all the praise and all the eyes on it, without like it being like kind of like forced. You know, it doesn't have that kind of maybe I shouldn't say this. That kind of Asian Americanness that kind of drags it down.
It doesn't feel like a show that people feel obligated to like.
It's just.
Because it's actually good.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, good show. Yeah, check it out. It's great. Yeah, but
if you're an English teacher living in Japan, check it out. You'll be able to relate a lot to this show.
Yeah. You'll go back home and then you'll see your friends and you'll be like, ugh, actually pretty disgusting.
You'll find
really
out
funny.
that like you're not allowed to use the cell phone on the train. You're like, this is madness.
And then you'll come back and you'll be like, oh, don't touchimashite all the time or something. Yeah. And then you just be like in a fucking like kimono garb and stuff. And you'll be like, yeah, actually, you'll go to a restaurant back in your hometown and be like, yeah, these guys actually are like pretty rude. So it's like.
There's nothing wrong with assimilating to the culture that you're living amidst, Tavi.
So would you say that John Blackthorne was the first weave?
Definitely not the first weave, but he's still carrying around his gun, Tavi. So how Japanese can he be?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
He's probably like a few kendo lessons away from becoming a full Japanese weeb.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's funny.
There's got to be a scene where like Ishido's forces are attacking or something, or they've like ambushed him, and then Blackthorne, he quickly gets out of bed, he runs to get his weapons, he reaches for the gun, but then chooses the katana. That's when you know, Tavi.
It's completely the first weeb, not the last samurai, but the first weeb. It's just like yeah, it probably wouldn't go well with like a general audience, but if they somehow pivoted the show into an extremely goopy direction and called it Shogun _ the first weeb, and it's got like John Blackthorne in like a really like cheesy pose where he's like doing the katana stance, and it's just him about becoming a major weeb, and he's just really good at like
it can just feed into like the 47 Ronin universe.
Oh man, we've come a long way since that movie. Yeah, it's a movie that I maybe have a slight guilty pleasure for, and its subsequent sequel that was really bad, but I somehow enjoy it for some reason. Yeah. Anyway, that's our ramblings done.
But what did you think of Shogun? Did you enjoy it, or were you expecting a bit more action? Are you stoked for a season 2 of this show? Let us know. You can get in touch with us at twoasianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation, or you can follow us on Instagram at twoasianblokes to see what we're up to. Yeah. Until next time.
I'm just still thinking of like the expression on John Blackthorne's face when he like sees it's really funny. It's just like yeah. All right. See you later, guys.
See ya. Bye.